So here we go. Are there too many hearts on this screen? Do we think? There are. Okay, so she doesn't like it already.
Maybe. Am I allowed to talk now? Maybe.
No, no,
but
yet.
The heart.
Go on.
Oh, am I allowed to talk? The heart does kind of mirror the quiff that your cockerel has got.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. Not. Okay. So here we are on the screen. This is my 4-step process. Okay, we're helping people move to Portugal in 24. People still want to move to this wonderful country despite recent changes in this last year, most notable of which is the NHR tax regime, which we'll find out about its fate later on today. And we'll talk about that on the webinar sessions tomorrow evening, of course, and on tomorrow morning's show. Top left-hand corner, you can see Bobby O'Reilly's approach to moving to Portugal through investment. Some of you who came here to retire might as well be investing and starting a business here, given how busy you are. Bobby O'Reilly knows how to do that and has a whole process set up for helping people move to Portugal through the investment approach. Now, from our point of view here, this 4-step plan of hashtag PT24. Do you like what I did there, Mrs. M? And I think it's the 4 C's, okay? So there are the basics and there are the extras, because I'm trying to, as complex as all of this can become, I'm trying to simplify it, okay? So my first C is to commit. And if you sign up with gmpvip.com, we can have a 30-minute call, which will help you with the other 3 of these C's, which I'll tell you more about in just a moment. You'll have a private community. You'll have a whole stack of online resources. You remember on Monday, Bob saying, whoa, Carl, all that stuff over there at GMP VIP, I didn't have the time to look. I have now, and it's amazing. So you get all of that. It's a good starting point. It connects you with a community here, which is the second C. Watch this morning show. Come to a meetup. That's happening at lunchtime today. Join a discovery weekend. That's in Coimbra on the 9th and 10th. So we've got committing and we've got connecting. I think those are the first 2 building blocks when you're moving. We didn't have that, did we, Mrs. M, when we were thinking of moving to Portugal? All we had, I think, was Portugal,
Pure
Portugal, living the good life. One Facebook group, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
And asking at the cafe.
And there were a little bit of Serbic in there, I often found, so like if you put some comment in, there was some narky expat that was there kind of almost virtue signaling all the time. Yeah, I didn't find it
very early virtue signaling. What's the internet?
Very earnest.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, what's the internet like in central Portugal? 5G is going to kill us. It was that kind of thing, wasn't it? Like, can someone recommend?
I got really schooled on like wanting to have internet in the house by somebody who didn't know me at all. And it's like,
And you watch TV and eat meat as well. You have no business in this group. Okay, all right. So that's a little bit of a caricature. I'm sorry. No, Pure Portugal, absolutely wonderful.
They were very helpful as well. I learned a lot of great stuff.
And they can't be held responsible for some of the extreme views expressed in their Facebook group, which is, of course, something all of us who host groups have to deal with at times. Yeah. Right. So committing and connecting, I would say those are the first 2 steps, the first 2 C's there. Then there's the consultation. And as I said before, you have to find the approach to working with professionals or not to suit your own personal needs, tastes, and budget, of course. And that's how we roll here. We like to work with everybody and share everybody's propositions. And then you make the decision for yourself who you want to consult with. So whether it's migration, real estate, the legal side, whatever it is to do with moving to Portugal, our job here, I think, is to introduce you to those people who you might not otherwise find, and you make your own decision. That's how I like Good Morning Portugal to be a broad church, if you like, of different views, of different capabilities, different professionals. And everyone's capable of making their own choice with that. Whether it's a one-stop shop approach like Expats Portugal, where you want everything taken care of for you, and some people do, and some people have a great experience with that, or whether it's you're the sort of person who wants to do everything yourself. You might have a limited budget, for example, and you want to do everything yourself, or you might have loads of money and still want to do everything yourself. There are people who can help you with various parts of that. We bring them to you. We stick them up on the tee, and you knock them down the fairway, not literally, of course. And the final C in my 4C approach here is the conversion of you got to remember at some point, because they don't take dollars here still, to rock up here with your dollars, and it's not going to go down especially well. You need to do the conversion, and our recommendation always, of course, when we talk with Sarah at Spartan FX, is to do that sooner rather than later. It's not like going on holiday. You can just pop down the travel age. Do you remember that, Mrs. M? Going back,
Yes.
talking of 30 years ago again, how did you go about getting your French francs? How did you do that?
Yeah, I just got some before I left. I went to
Where
the
though? Where though? You
travel
didn't have a
agent, or I went
card,
to the
did you?
post office.
Yeah.
No, no, no. And then when I got there, I just had to, you know, I earned a living there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you got 10 francs pretty much to the pound back in those days
yeah,
before the euro, didn't you? And you
yeah,
could get you could get them from the post office, like you said. You could get them from the bank, and now you can do it all online, and you can get
yeah.
cards, you get Revolut, and you can get Wise multi-currency cards. It's quite amazing the difference now. Certainly a lot more convenient, but you've got to do that. Transferring your dollars or your pounds or whatever other your Canadian loonies or your South African rand, that can all be done with Spartan FX, who we like to work with, and of course, who make it nice and easy for you. So, anything you want to say about that first level, then the basics: commit, connect, consult, and convert. Have I missed anything there, Mrs. M?
Can I think of another C?
Can you?
Um, it's interesting you were talking about alliteration with James not too long ago. I love that, actually. It's easy, isn't it? Commit, connect, consult, convert.
Yeah.
I like it.
It does.
I like
The
it. I think
convert sounds possibly a little bit religious at the end, doesn't it?
yeah, it
Like,
does.
yeah.
I was wondering what I thought you were going to convert people into like selling it for you, like,
Good idea.
like a
Thank you for that.
pyramid
Yeah,
scheme.
I'll write that down. Yes, how about that? Moving to Portugal, network marketing style with Good Morning Portugal. Yes, you too can be a platinum field commander on level 1 and make $5,000 a week. Yes, great idea. Thank you for that. I knew it was a great idea to ask you about this. And then there's the extras. There's our new news and information area for those people who find 90 minutes a day, talking of commitment. If coming to the Good Morning Portugal show every morning is a bit too much, we now have, talking of migration light, we have Portugal News Light over at News and Information, aka learnaboutportugal.com. We also have the Portugal Club, which is for those who need an extra little bit of hand holding or who are going out of their way above and beyond the normal involvement and wanting to do some pretty special stuff and become extraordinary expats. We had a great meeting last night, for example. Every Tuesday, we have a check-in at 8 for those people who might benefit from that, especially if you're in the States or over in UK still, and you're working on your plans and you want to check in with other people who are on the same path. We do that every Tuesday at 8. And at 8:30, you have a special guest. Now, last night, we had Jason on who was talking about a way of recognizing the fact that that us as foreigners are about 1 in 10 of the population, and how we might manage that in going forward. It was a really good discussion. Thank you to those of you who were there last night for that. And the best idea I think we came up with are some how-to guides. So to veer away from the politics, we had some really good insight on this whole thing about how foreigners can be blamed for some of the problems that are going on in the country. Well, Nuna, who joined us to talk about that, said, that's politics. Politics can make things look bigger and more ugly than they actually are. Have you experienced that yourself? He asked us, and he told us this lovely story of being at Sporting Lisbon. I really welled up when he told this story last night. He was at a Sporting Lisbon match with his dad. And an old Spanish gentleman had found himself in the Sporting Lisbon fan end or enclosure or part of the ground. And when the Spanish team who Sporting Lisbon were playing in some sort of European tournament scored, he was the only one, this old Spanish guy was the only one to stand up and go, yes, go! And of course, among loads of Sporting Lisbon fans, he was about as welcome as a fart in a spacesuit, basically. And two Sporting fans started to abuse this old gentleman, telling him, reading him his fortune, if you like, in no uncertain terms, and being quite abusive towards him. And then, do you know what happened, Mrs. M?
Everyone piled in to soothe it and to stop it.
Absolutely. The sporting fans turned on these two reprobates among them, their fellow fans, and told them to wind it in and leave the old guy
Yeah,
alone supporting his team. And that,
yeah,
to me, is such a beautiful illustration of what it's the humanness that Michael Whitby was talking about earlier on. That's what people are really like, isn't it? Underneath it all, underneath
yeah.
all of it, that's what people are really like. And occasionally we just have to be reminded of that. And that was a beautiful reminder of it. So that's, yeah, the political thing can seem inflamed and over exaggerated. And actually, our experience of being in Portugal is great. We're not getting that sort of pushback. And a great way we thought, okay, let's get away from the politics and more into the practical and come up with some guides on how to engage locally. How to,
I think that's lovely.
more
Great
than just chucking a few coins in the bucket for the Bombeiros, get involved, actually get
idea.
involved with the local association, whether it's a Bombeiros cultural or whatever. I'm very aware.
Well, yeah, like tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow there's let me just. I sent the details to you. There's the Christmas fair locally.
Yeah.
That's Let me just see if I can find it. So for people in this Silver Coast area, you might want to go to Jacqueline Branco's Christmas fair. I'm just trying to find the details. Maybe we'll talk about it on the show tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah, absolutely. Because I'm aware that it's 2 minutes.
Are you still there? I can't hear you.
It's 2 minutes until barefoot broadcast time.
I mean, there's loads of All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye now, and rush down and make myself a drink.
Well, okay. I think I got off
lightly
there. I think your
thanks for having me on.
Favorable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's a really vast thing that you really cover in so many different ways, and the support that I see that you really do well is helping with the continuity of sort of helping people feel at home. You've created a safe space for people to ask questions and to connect and to be reassured. I really see that the hand holding is one of the really big things that you create the time and space for, and I see the power in that. I mean, if we we probably still wouldn't have used our own services because we like to struggle like muppets, don't we? And also we've never been flush with loads of money before, not at that time, when we're moving. But I think if you want a bit more reassurance, then I think what you offer is really good.